So here we are, it's mid-August, and I was going to go through this little sidewalk garden I have over here. But first I wanted to throw in a little tip. My favorite thing about reading gardening magazines is the little tips that you get from the readers. And so this is a little tip I want to give back. You know how you want to put a planter on each side of a doorway, or in this case, the garage, but one gets more sun than the other and they're never equal in size. So what I kind of came upon is putting a plastic pot inside the concrete planter, and then I can get this out and I can switch them periodically. I don't make a crazy habit of it. When I notice that one is bigger than the other, then I tend to switch them, and it keeps them pretty even. So and also actually that was by accident, because I had heard that putting a plastic pot inside the concrete would keep the soil from drying out as quickly as it does in concrete or in clay. And then I realized the bonus to that. All right, so here's a little garden that is on both sides of the path from the garage to the front of the house. I have Spirea here, and as you can see, even though they bloomed in the spring, or I would say early summer, they always have a little bit more flower coming along for the entire season, because here it is mid-August and there's just always flowers. Now some people cut off, shear it back. I shouldn't say shear it back. They don't take that much off. They take off the top flowers and then they get more flowers. I've done that before. I didn't do it this year, and I feel like I've got as much of a rebloom as I usually get. But then of course you're looking at the corpses of the spent flowers there. These cone flowers over here are totally volunteers. And even though I wanted this to be kind of neat and the same thing all the way across, because my husband likes that, he likes to have the areas where it looks, sort of more towards a cohesive kind of thing, where I like a wild garden. So anyway, I didn't have the heart to tear these out, and there they are. But I just love walking through this little path here. And these are anemones. They're called September Charm, and I just absolutely love them. They are just like so abundant with flowers. Allegedly they are shade tolerant. I would say that, well, let's put it this way. This side of the bed is somewhat sunnier. It is not a full sun, but it's a little less than full sun. It might get 4 hours of sun, 4 or 5 hours of sun. So then over here where we have the same, you will see they are not quite as abundant. And this side is gets a little more shade, but still, there's a reasonable amount of flowers on here. And there is a reasonable amount of spread, but not compared to the other side. But yes, some things are very crowded in here. I got some phlox in here. This one looks like it's gonna bloom, which is very nice because the rest of them are done. Let's see what else. I really love this grass, and unfortunately I do not remember the name of this grass, but I think it's just a really, really, really cool grass. It's just one. I just put one in there because I knew it was going to get fat, and I thought it would be something nice to look at when we're on the porch looking out the window at that. And this geranium is called Bevan's variety here, that's all around. And this was just a miracle. I just did not expect this to be so lush and beautiful. It flowers for like a hot 5 minutes, but it's just a great, great plant, and it's all the way around this bed, except for that tree, which volunteered. I have to take that tree out. I heard it's a cedar tree. So yeah, I just love this. It's like a carpet. All right, over here, these are the digitalis that are perennial, and they have a little yellow flower. They're not as fantastically beautiful and big and bold as the other colored ones that are biennial, but at least they are consistent. I should have cut off the seed heads because they do tend to spread all around the yard. So anyway, that's my little garden path right from between the garage and the front of the house. And this time of the year, it's kind of really nice and lush. So the only other thing that I wanted to look at over here, now I have to say, this whole video on YouTube idea is really, it's kind of a diary. It's kind of a filing system, because I can't keep all this video on my phone. There's not enough room, or on my computer. But at the same time, when spring comes, I forget what's growing where, what's going on. And that's not good, because I tend to dig up plants that I didn't realize were there. So this way it's kind of a record of what's going on, what I want to change. So anyway, here we are. I have 2 garden beds over there. There was a tree that probably laid there forever before we bought the house. So there was a big blank space, no grass. So I made a garden bed, and then it became 2 garden beds over there and over there. But then it seemed out of proportion to the size of the area. So this one we had a very early spring or a very mild winter. So I systematically went through the woods and got rocks and made a bed, put down newspapers, which are hard to come by these days because not many people get newspapers delivered. So a combination of newspapers, I got a piece of carpet there. What else did I use? Paper bags, paper shopping bags. So anyway, I think I've maybe videoed this before, but now it's, kind of coming along a little bit. Obviously this area is still, nothing's going on over here. This is very, very shady over here. So I put in a couple of geraniums over there. I'm kind of picking up stuff at the end of the year sales and putting them in, and also bringing stuff from other parts of my garden. So this is some astilbe that I had an abundance of. The frog never got anything planted in him. And the cone flowers. I have this purple smoke bush. I don't know. I think it's just gonna die. It's been around for 3 or 4 years. It should not be this tall. The only thing I cut off, it was a little dead stuff, but it was in a spot where I thought it must hate where it is, so I moved it over here, and it's not doing much better here. So I'm getting very frustrated with that. I'm also frustrated with the fact that I try to be very careful about noticing which areas have more sun and which areas have less sun, and I kind of screw up and I wind up putting shade plants where they're just like getting killed by too much sun, and then vice versa. I just put this plant in the ground. This was a great find because I noticed that ornamental grasses now, any plants actually, because gardening has become a popular thing now, all of a sudden it's $35 to buy an ornamental grass. It's mind-blowing. So this was my find yesterday, and I'm going back for another one because I think I'm gonna try to put one on the, kind of over there on the other side of my weird sculpture that's a work in progress. But anyway, this one's called Niagara Falls Pennisetum, and it was $10.98 at Home Depot, and I am definitely going back for another one. And what I really liked about it was the size of it. It was like in a 4-inch pot, so it's a lot easier. There's a lot of tree roots over here, and it hasn't been that easy to dig holes and put plants in the ground. This is the Sun King Aurelia, which is a very popular plant now because it's grows in the shade and it grows big and lush, and the bugs just got this one. This is, well, obviously that's a brand new plant because it covers a lot of ground once it gets going, but it takes a few years to do that. Let's see, I have some butterfly weed there. Those are some heucheras that are supposed to get to a decent size, and they actually flowered. Wow, I didn't think they would flower this late in the year. And there's of course my plant tags. Real gardeners have plant tags strewn all over their garden. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So yeah, purple coneflowers I got from other parts of the gardens. Also this peony, which who knows, we'll see how this will do. I transplanted that. I have a few of them around the yard that I found. Actually, I found some in the woods, so I don't know, maybe they used to garden in what is now the woods. And then these, see, look it, I'm getting some digitalis over here, and it's got a little bloom on it. I found those in a nursery in the annual section, and so for the 4-pack of these were like, I don't know, $5 or something. So you got to try to find cheap plants where you can find cheap plants. I just can't go to the nurseries where the plants are, $25 and up. So this is the bed that's older, more established. My problem is I keep making the beds bigger, so then it's always very, very lush in the middle, and then very kind of straggly on the sides. So I'm going to stop. That's what I keep telling myself, I'm going to stop. Oh, so what's different over here, because I might have been in this bed at other times, is my beloved ironweed. It is such a cool plant. It is a native plant. I saw these on a hike yesterday, and they were about half the size. But these are, I'm going to say, I'm 5'6". They're about my height. So they are just like a cool plant. They can be a little floppy, but I just absolutely love them. And the hydrangeas are doing so good this year, really, really well. Yeah, so I'm happy. So yeah, I'm kind of you know, kind of a haphazard gardener. So everything's not necessarily neat and pretty and well designed, but it is what it is. My friend said to me one time, you have a lot of material, you just need to organize it. So, but anyway, so that's it. Mid-August 2024.